On one visit, Michael spent hours speaking with Sarah, a middle-aged woman whose life had been upended by the loss of her job. The project had given her a chance to start over, and she shared her story with a heartfelt candor that left him deeply moved. "It's not just a job for me, Mr. Harris," Sarah said, her voice trembling with emotion. "It's a second chance at life. For the first time in years, I feel like someone sees my worth." Michael felt a lump rise in his throat. Her words struck a chord, reminding him that his work now carried a weight far beyond profits or growth charts. He wasn't just helping individuals, he was helping to rebuild lives. Every story he heard deepened his commitment. Each conversation revealed how these projects were transforming more than numbers, they were reshaping futures, instilling hope where it had long been lost. Michael's resolve grew stronger with each passing day. For the first time, he wasn't chasing accolades, he was pursuing something far more meaningful, a legacy built on service, not ego. The project had grown beyond a mere concept, it had come alive, touching lives and inspiring transformation. As tangible results began to emerge, so did the company's reputation, regaining the trust it had once lost. The board members, initially skeptical of Michael Harris's ability to lead with integrity, started to show signs of approval. In meetings with the board, Michael carried himself with calm and humility, a stark contrast to the grandiose persona he had once worn like armor. He presented the project's progress, consistently emphasizing the contributions of his team and acknowledging Olivia's pivotal role. Each statistic, each success story, was a testament to the impact of their collective efforts. During one such meeting, Mr. Diaz, the chairman of the board, leaned back thoughtfully. "Michael," he said, his tone uncharacteristically warm, "I have to admit, your approach to this project has impressed us. The pilot is a success, and I'm confident we can scale it sustainably." Michael offered a quiet smile, feeling the weight of those words. For him, it wasn't just about the board's approval. He knew Olivia's mentorship had been instrumental in his growth, and he made it a point to recognize her influence. Yet something beyond professional admiration was beginning to stir in his heart. As they worked together, Michael found himself seeing Olivia in a new light. She wasn't just a brilliant strategist or an exceptional leader, she was compassionate, principled, and deeply committed to her work. He noticed how she spoke to each project participant with genuine kindness, how her attention to detail never wavered, and how her presence seemed to bring calm and confidence to those around her. During one of their visits to a community center, Michael and Olivia attended a small celebration organized by the project's beneficiaries. The event was humble but heartfelt, a gesture of gratitude for the support they had received. Michael watched as Olivia moved effortlessly through the crowd, engaging with each person with a warmth that was both genuine and rare. She belonged in this space, and it was clear that the people felt it too. She doesn't just lead this project, Michael thought, a sense of admiration swelling in his chest. She's part of it. After the celebration ended, Michael offered to walk Olivia back to the office. The quiet streets of the community stretched before them, illuminated by soft, flickering lights. Feeling a rare vulnerability, Michael decided to break the silence. "Olivia," he began, his voice softer than usual, "I've always admired your dedication to this project. What made you invest so much of yourself into it?" She turned to him with a smile that was both tender and resolute. "Michael, I think I've always been drawn to the idea of creating something bigger than myself. When I was younger, I saw people close to me struggle in ways that left a deep impression. Being part of something that helps others rebuild their lives, it gives my own life meaning." Her words resonated deeply. For Michael, the project had been about regaining his reputation and building a legacy. But for Olivia, it was personal, driven by a mission to make a real difference. In that moment, Michael began to understand the depth of her convictions and the extraordinary woman standing beside him. In the weeks that followed, their partnership evolved. What had once been a formal, cautious dynamic now became a collaboration marked by mutual trust and admiration. They strategized together, shared ideas, and leaned on each other for support in decisions both big and small. Yet something deeper began to shift within Michael. His feelings for Olivia grew stronger with each passing day. It wasn't just her intelligence or her passion for the work, it was the way she made him feel grounded, inspired, and whole. For someone who had always been wary of personal relationships in the workplace, this realization caught him off guard. One evening, after an especially long meeting, the two lingered in the office, discussing the project's future. Their conversation, which started with spreadsheets and deadlines, gradually shifted to more personal reflections. Michael seized the opportunity to express what had been on his mind. "Olivia, I owe so much of this transformation to you," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. "I used to think success was about power and control, but you've shown me that true success comes from building something meaningful." She looked at him, surprised but clearly moved by his honesty. "Michael," she said gently, "seeing the changes in you has been one of the most fulfilling parts of this journey. You've come so far." For a moment, their eyes met, and an unspoken connection filled the space between them. Michael felt an overwhelming urge to close the gap, but he held back, unwilling to jeopardize the professional bond they had built. As the days passed, however, Michael found it increasingly difficult to suppress his growing affection for Olivia. He noticed the way her eyes lit up when she spoke about something she cared about, the way she inspired the team with her conviction, and the quiet strength that made her so unique. One evening, as they worked late in the office reviewing reports, Michael spoke without thinking. "You know," he said, his tone unusually tender, "you're one of the most remarkable people I've ever met." Olivia laughed softly, a touch of surprise in her expression. "Thank you, Michael, but I think you've changed just as much and you've become someone truly admirable." Her words settled in his heart, affirming what he already knew. He wasn't just drawn to Olivia, he was falling in love with her. This wasn't a fleeting infatuation or a momentary impulse. It was a deep respect and a desire to share something meaningful with her, a mission, a purpose, and perhaps a future. That night, as Michael Harris walked home, he realized the transformation Olivia had sparked in him was far more profound than just professional growth. She had awakened something in his heart, something he had never thought possible. Regardless of what lay ahead, Michael knew his life had been irrevocably changed. As the days passed, Michael and Olivia grew closer. Their professional relationship began to evolve into something more personal, a connection that deepened with every shared moment. The man who had once been consumed by ego and power now found himself engaging in candid conversations with Olivia, revealing vulnerabilities he had long kept hidden. He felt lighter, more alive, and for the first time in years, truly whole. Olivia noticed the change as well. Spending more time with Michael, she saw a man emerging from his past mistakes, becoming someone she could genuinely admire. His transformation wasn't superficial, it was heartfelt and sincere. She found herself drawn to his determination to rebuild himself and to create something that mattered deeply. Slowly, her guarded heart began to open to him. In the weeks that followed, Michael sought ways to spend more time with Olivia. He invited her to lunch after meetings, suggested leisurely walks at the end of long days, and often steered conversations toward topics beyond their work. They shared stories of their pasts, fears they rarely voiced, and dreams they dared to imagine. The line between professional and personal blurred, leaving them in a space where their feelings were undeniable but unspoken. One evening, after a particularly grueling day working on the project, they stayed late at the office to finalize a report. The dim lighting and quiet ambience created an intimate atmosphere, and as they sat side by side, Michael found himself overwhelmed by a wave of emotion. "I need to say something," he began, breaking the silence. "Thank you for everything. For believing in me even when I didn't deserve it." Olivia turned to him, surprised by the depth of his words. "You don't need to thank me, Michael. The changes you've made, they came from you. I just showed you the path." Michael offered a small smile, but the weight of what he truly wanted to say pressed on his chest. His heart raced as he gathered the courage to speak. "Olivia," he said, his voice trembling slightly, "I can't keep this to myself anymore. I'm in love with you." For a moment, silence filled the room. Olivia's eyes met his, her expression unreadable, and Michael felt a pang of fear that he had overstepped. But then, her face softened, and she smiled a smile that lit up the space around them. "I'm in love with you too, Michael," she admitted, her voice steady and sincere. "I felt this way for a while, but I was afraid of what it might mean for everything we've worked so hard to build." Michael let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding, laughing softly with relief. "I felt the same fear," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "But I can't ignore what I feel anymore. I want us to be more, not just partners at work, but in every sense of the word." Olivia nodded, her smile growing. "I want that too, Michael. I think we're finally ready for this, ready for something more." As they sat together, the world around them seemed to fade, leaving only the connection they shared. Leaning closer, Michael felt his heart skip a beat as their lips met in a tender, passionate kiss. In that moment, all barriers fell, and what remained was a bond that felt unshakable. After that evening, their relationship blossomed naturally. Michael and Olivia began spending more time together outside of work, sharing meals, exploring the city, and creating memories that deepened their connection. Each moment revealed new layers of understanding and affection between them, reinforcing how well they complemented each other. At work, they maintained their professionalism, ensuring the project's success remained their top priority. Yet, the team couldn't help but notice the warmth in their interactions and the unspoken connection that seemed to grow with time. As the months went on, the project flourished under their leadership. The local community thrived, participants achieved goals they once thought impossible, and the initiative's success inspired expansions into other regions. The company earned widespread recognition for its commitment to sustainable, impactful growth, a feat that even the board couldn't ignore. During a board meeting, Mr. Diaz, the often critical chairman, acknowledged Michael's efforts. "Michael, you've shown us that transformation is possible," he said with a rare smile. "The success of this project speaks volumes about your leadership and dedication. I'm proud to say you've earned our full trust as a true leader." Michael accepted the praise with humility, knowing how hard the journey had been. Glancing at Olivia, who sat beside him, he felt a wave of gratitude. Without her belief in him, her guidance, and her unwavering resolve, he wouldn't have made it this far. For Michael, this wasn't just a story of professional redemption. It was a testament to the power of change, partnership, and love. Together, he and Olivia had built something far greater than either of them could have imagined, something that would endure, both in the lives they touched and in the bond they now shared. Outside of work, Michael Harris and Olivia's relationship blossomed into something profound and deeply fulfilling. They found happiness in each other, sharing a love that was both genuine and transformative. For Michael, the thought of building a future with Olivia felt not only right but essential, and he sensed that she shared the same vision. One sunny afternoon, as they strolled through a serene park, Michael gently took Olivia's hand and paused, turning to face her. His eyes held a sincerity that made her heart swell. "I never imagined meeting someone like you," he said, his voice tinged with emotion. "You've completely changed my life, Olivia, and I want to spend every moment I have left making you happy." Tears of joy welled in Olivia's eyes as she smiled warmly. "I want that too, Michael. You're not the man I first met. You've grown into someone so much better. I love you for who you've become." In that moment, surrounded by the gentle rustle of leaves and the laughter of children nearby, Michael leaned in, and they shared a tender kiss. It was a moment of pure connection, marking the beginning of a new journey. It wouldn't be without its challenges, but they were ready to face it together, hand in hand, with unwavering commitment. The project they had poured their hearts into continued to thrive, becoming a shining example of social responsibility and ethical leadership. Together, Michael and Olivia stepped into co-leadership roles, ensuring the initiative's positive impact reached even more communities. Their partnership became more than a professional success. It was a beacon of inspiration. They were admired as much for their unwavering love and mutual respect as for their ability to lead with compassion and integrity. The company earned numerous accolades, with awards and media recognition for its groundbreaking social programs. Yet for Michael and Olivia, the true reward lay in the lives they had touched. Financial achievements were secondary to the stories they witnessed: families finding stability, individuals rediscovering purpose, and dreams being rekindled. These were the moments that defined their legacy, the tangible proof of the mission they had set out to accomplish together. Months later, in an intimate ceremony surrounded by close friends, colleagues, and members of the communities they had uplifted, Michael and Olivia exchanged vows. The setting was simple yet elegant, a reflection of the authenticity that had always defined their journey together. Their promises weren't just about their love for one another, they were a shared pledge to continue their work for a greater purpose. To lead with compassion, to build a future rooted in hope and dedication, and to leave behind a legacy that would ripple far beyond their time. That night, as they danced beneath a canopy of stars, Michael felt a profound sense of gratitude. The man who had once sought power and prestige at any cost now understood the true meaning of fulfillment. It was in building something meaningful, something that mattered, alongside the woman who had changed his life. Together, Michael and Olivia embarked on a new chapter, not just for themselves, but for the countless lives they would continue to impact. Their journey wasn't just about love or leadership, it was about the enduring power of transformation and the promise of a legacy that would inspire for generations to come. The company's growth exceeded everyone's expectations, transforming from a fledgling initiative into a model of sustainable success. Under Michael Harris and Olivia's leadership, it became a beacon of hope for communities and a testament to what compassionate leadership could achieve. Each day brought new milestones, a new project launched, a struggling family given a second chance, a community revitalized. Yet, amidst their professional triumphs, Michael and Olivia's personal journey reached a turning point they never anticipated. One brisk autumn morning, as golden leaves drifted lazily to the ground outside their office windows, Olivia sat across from Michael, reviewing proposals for a new community center. Her focus wavered, a wave of dizziness forcing her to pause. Michael, ever attuned to her, noticed immediately. "Olivia," he said, concern lacing his voice, "you've been looking pale all week. Are you feeling all right?" She brushed his concern aside with a small smile. "I'm fine, Michael. It's just been a busy few days. Let's finish these plans." But Michael wasn't convinced. He reached across the table, taking her hand in his. "You've been pushing yourself too hard. Let's take a break. I can handle this." His tenderness caught her off guard. Michael, once driven solely by ambition, had become a partner who cared deeply, not just for her but for everyone around him. Reluctantly, she nodded, setting down the documents. Later that evening, as they walked home beneath the glowing city lights, Olivia confided in him. "Michael, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. I think I need to see a doctor." Michael stopped in his tracks, turning to her with worry etched on his face. "What's wrong, Olivia? Is it serious?" "I don't know," she admitted, her voice soft, "but I've been feeling different." The next morning they sat side by side in a small, warmly lit clinic. Olivia squeezed Michael's hand as the doctor entered with a kind smile. "Well," the doctor began, "I have some news that might explain how you've been feeling, Olivia. You're pregnant." The room seemed to tilt for a moment as the words sank in. Olivia's hand flew to her mouth, her eyes wide with surprise. "Pregnant," she whispered, her voice trembling. Michael sat frozen, the gravity of the moment stealing his words. Then, as if a dam had burst, a wave of emotion overtook him. "We're going to have a baby?" he asked, his voice a mix of awe and disbelief. The doctor nodded warmly, offering her congratulations before leaving them alone to process the news. Tears welled in Olivia's eyes as she turned to Michael. "I can't believe it," she murmured, her voice breaking. "Michael, we're going to be parents." Michael gathered her into his arms, his heart racing with joy and an overwhelming sense of responsibility. Olivia, he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. You've given me so much already, your love, your strength. Now, you're giving me a family. I don't even have the words to thank you. They sat together in that small room, the world outside forgotten, as they imagined the life they were about to build not just for themselves but for the tiny life growing inside Olivia. In the weeks that followed, the news of Olivia's pregnancy brought a new energy to their lives. Michael became fiercely protective, ensuring she rested when needed and insisting on accompanying her to every appointment. At work, they shared their joy with the team, who celebrated the couple's happiness with an outpouring of love and support. One afternoon, as they toured a newly completed vocational center, Olivia paused to rest on a bench overlooking the bustling community. Michael joined her, their fingers intertwining as they watched children play and families gather. Michael, Olivia began, her tone contemplative. I've been thinking a lot about what this means for us, for the company. I want our child to grow up understanding the importance of giving back, of building something meaningful. Michael nodded, his gaze fixed on the scene before them. They will, Olivia, because they'll have you as a mother. And I promise, I'll do everything in my power to make this a world they can be proud of. The months passed in a blur of preparations. Together, they transformed their home into a haven for their growing family, choosing soft pastels for the nursery and debating over names late into the night. At work, they balanced the demands of their expanding enterprise with the anticipation of parenthood, finding strength in their shared vision for the future. One evening, as a gentle snowfall blanketed the city, Michael surprised Olivia with a quiet dinner at home. The table was set with candles, and soft music played in the background. As they ate, Michael reached across the table, his hand covering hers. Olivia, he began, his voice steady, you've shown me what it means to love, to lead, and to hope. You've made me a better man. And now, as we prepare for this next chapter, I want you to know that I'll always be by your side through every joy, every challenge. Tears shimmered in Olivia's eyes as she smiled. I couldn't do this without you, Michael. You've given me so much strength, so much love. I'm not afraid of what's ahead, because I know we'll face it together. In that moment, they felt an unshakable bond, their love deepened by the promise of the life they were creating. As the snow fell outside, Michael and Olivia held each other close, ready to embrace whatever the future might bring. When their child finally arrived, a beautiful baby girl with Michael's eyes and Olivia's smile, their hearts overflowed. Naming her Grace, they knew she embodied everything they had worked for and dreamed of a new beginning, a testament to love and a legacy of hope. As they cradled Grace in their arms, Michael whispered, "Welcome to the world, little one. You're the best thing we've ever done." Years passed, and Grace Harris grew up in a home filled with love, wisdom, and the unwavering guidance of her parents, Michael and Olivia. From an early age, it was clear that Grace was no ordinary child. She inherited Michael's sharp intellect and Olivia's compassionate heart, creating a unique blend of brilliance and empathy that would set her apart. At the age of 10, she often sat at the dinner table, listening intently as her parents discussed their latest community projects. Her father, once driven by corporate success, now spoke with passion about the lives they were transforming. Her mother, ever the visionary, emphasized the importance of creating lasting change. Grace absorbed every word, her young mind shaping an unshakable belief she wanted to make a difference, just like them. One evening, as the family gathered in their cozy living room, Grace turned to her parents with a question that would change everything. "Mom, Dad," she began, her voice steady but curious, "how do we help people who don't have much money? How can they invest in themselves when they have so little?" Michael exchanged a glance with Olivia, pride and surprise mingling in his expression. "That's a thoughtful question," Gracie said. "Helping people build something from almost nothing is one of the hardest but most rewarding things we can do." Olivia nodded, adding, "It's not just about giving money, Grace. It's about teaching people to use what they have wisely. Even the smallest resources can grow when handled with care." Grace's eyes lit up with determination. "Then I want to learn how to do that." I want to help people make the most of what they have." From that moment, Grace's path became clear. Under the patient mentorship of her parents, she began to learn about finance, community development, and the delicate balance between compassion and strategy. Michael, who had once dominated the corporate world, now became her teacher, guiding her through the complexities of investment and economics. As she grew, Grace's passion for financial empowerment deepened. By the time she entered college, she was already developing innovative ideas to help underprivileged communities access financial tools. She excelled in her studies, earning a degree in economics with honors, followed by an MBA that solidified her expertise. Her parents couldn't have been prouder. On the night of her graduation, Michael raised a toast, his voice thick with emotion. "To Grace, the heart of our family. You've become everything we dreamed of and more. And I know this is only the beginning." By her mid-20s, Grace had become a rising star in the financial world. Unlike many in her field, she wasn't driven by personal gain, but by a deep desire to empower others. She founded her own organization, Hope Investments, dedicated to teaching low-income families how to invest even the smallest savings to create sustainable futures. Her vision was simple yet groundbreaking: to provide accessible financial education and tools to people who had never been given the opportunity to think beyond daily survival. Grace believed that even a single dollar could be the seed of transformation if invested wisely. One of her first programs was launched in a struggling urban neighborhood where unemployment and poverty were rampant. Grace arrived at the community center with a warm smile and a box of materials. The room was filled with skeptical faces, men and women who had spent their lives scraping by and couldn't imagine how financial concepts could change their reality. "Thank you all for being here today," Grace began, her voice steady and reassuring. "I know many of you feel like the world hasn't given you much to work with, but I'm here to show you that even the smallest steps can lead to big changes." A hand shot up in the crowd. It belonged to an elderly man named Mr. Carter, his face lined with years of struggle. "Miss Harris," he said, his tone cautious, "I've got nothing but a few dollars after paying my bills. How can someone like me invest?" Grace smiled gently. "Mr. Carter, that's exactly why I'm here. Let's start small. Those few dollars can be the foundation of something meaningful. I'll teach you how to grow it step by step." Over the following months, Grace worked tirelessly with the community. She held workshops on budgeting, saving, and investing in small-scale projects like microloans and community businesses. Her approach was hands-on, ensuring that every participant felt supported and understood. One day, after a session on compound interest, a young single mother named Maria approached Grace with tears in her eyes. "Miss Harris," she said, her voice trembling, "for the first time, I feel like I can give my kids a better life. Thank you for believing in us." Grace placed a comforting hand on Maria's shoulder. "Maria, you're the one doing the hard work. I'm just here to guide you. You have the strength to change your family's future." Word of Grace's work spread like wildfire. Hope Investments expanded to multiple communities, reaching thousands of people who had once thought financial stability was out of their reach. Each success story fueled Grace's determination. One evening, as Grace prepared for a keynote speech at a national conference, she found herself reflecting on how far she had come. Her parents, now retired, sat proudly in the front row of the auditorium. Michael leaned over to Olivia, whispering, "She's surpassed anything we could have imagined, hasn't she?" Olivia nodded, her eyes glistening. "She's taken everything we've taught her and turned it into something extraordinary. She's changed lives, Michael, just like we always hoped." When Grace took the stage, her presence commanded the room. She spoke passionately about the power of financial literacy and the importance of giving underserved communities a chance to thrive. "My parents taught me that leadership isn't about control, it's about service," she said, her voice resonating with conviction. "And I believe that financial empowerment is one of the greatest acts of service we can offer. It's not just about numbers, it's about people, about dignity, about hope." The audience erupted in applause, moved by her words and the authenticity she exuded. Afterward, as Grace embraced her parents, Michael whispered, You've built a legacy, Grace. A legacy of hope. In the years that followed, Grace's influence only grew. Her programs became a model for social and financial reform, inspiring policymakers and businesses alike to adopt more inclusive practices. Yet, despite her success, she remained grounded, always returning to the communities that had shaped her mission. One day, as she walked through a bustling market funded by her initiatives, Grace paused to watch a group of children playing nearby. A woman approached her, holding a small child by the hand. "Miss Harris," the woman said, her voice filled with gratitude, "because of you, I was able to start my own business. I can send my kids to school now. You've given us a future." Grace knelt to greet the child, her heart swelling with emotion. "You've given yourself that future," she said gently. "I just helped you see what was possible." As the sun set over the vibrant market, Grace felt a profound sense of fulfillment. She thought of her parents, whose guidance had shaped her journey, and of the countless lives that had been transformed. In that moment, she knew her work was far from over, but she also knew that together, they had created something truly remarkable. And so, the legacy of Michael and Olivia Harris continued, carried forward by the daughter who had turned their dreams into reality. Thank you for watching this touching story of transformation, hope, and the enduring power of love. Today we've journeyed through the life of Michael Harris, a man who once measured success by profit but discovered true fulfillment in serving others, thanks to the unwavering support and wisdom of Olivia. Together, they built a legacy not just of corporate success, but of compassion, creating opportunities for countless lives to thrive. The heart of the story lies in their daughter, Grace, whose upbringing in a home filled with love and purpose led her to become a beacon of hope for others. From empowering communities to teaching the value of even the smallest financial steps, Grace exemplified the power of combining knowledge with empathy. Her story reminds us that true success is measured not by what we gain, but by the lives we uplift. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video and share it with your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can be part of many more inspiring stories that celebrate resilience, love, and the human spirit. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What part of this journey resonated with you the most? Was it Michael's transformation, Olivia's unwavering belief in him, or Grace's inspiring mission? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, leave a 1 to show your support. And if you want to see more stories like this, comment with a 0 to let us know. Together, let's continue spreading hope and inspiration one story at a time. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you in the next video.